look, I've been a BI practitioner my whole career. I would say it's both an exciting and a scary time, because look at what models can do. It used to take 2 weeks to build a dashboard in Tableau, and you can get a very similar dashboard in a minute and a half out of Claude.
You're listening to It's About Data, episode 88. This is an interview with Ryan Dolley about his upcoming book on business intelligence with LLMs. So Ryan, it's great to see you here at DataTune. I've really been surprised by this conference. I've had a great time. I mean, lots of great people here, great talks. You are writing a book right now, and I'd like you to tell us a little bit about it, actually.
Yeah. The book's, it's about building analytics and business intelligence applications with LLMs, essentially. So it kind of grounds practitioners in context management, security management, tips, techniques, prompting templates, all that sort of stuff. All the stuff you're going to want to do to take what you do today to produce reports, dashboards, chat bots, whatever it is you may be making to communicate with end users, and start to offload some of that development work to the AI, essentially, is what it covers.
Well, I feel like right now there are a lot of people talking about doing this, and there are a lot of people kind of doing it on their own, but it's less clear to me that there's a set of best practices. I mean, I think in the world of data engineering, we finally feel sort of grounded, except that now we feel ungrounded because of this whole new wave of technology.
Yeah, and similar in business intelligence, it's really interesting what has happened. Business intelligence was very unsexy for a while, and people felt, I would say, like it was almost a solved problem, and all the effort went into the engineering side of things. And what we've seen with what AI models are clearly capable of in BI is the way we've been doing BI forever, a lot of that's going to be automated, which is maybe the downside. But the upside is it's taken this very stagnant market and kind of blown it up. So now the possibilities of what we can build and how we can communicate the meaning in data to decision makers and support them have been completely scrambled. So it's exciting at the same time.
Who's the target audience for this book? Because I mean, there are a lot of different domains where you can use AI, but like, who are you specifically?
I would say data analysts or business intelligence people who are on the front lines of the data team. So like if you're at the top of the data stack and it's your job to work with end users and figure out how to communicate the meaning of data to them, and then to build the systems that communicate that meaning, I would say that's the target. And Look, I've been a BI practitioner my whole career. I would say it's both an exciting and a scary time.
Absolutely,
Because look at what models can do. It used to take 2 weeks to build a dashboard in Tableau, and you can get a very similar dashboard in a minute and a half out of Claude.
Well, I think one of the points that our mutual friend Ollie Hughes has made is that we've kind of been doing business analytics and business intelligence the wrong way for a long time. And that is, the business analyst was exactly what you were talking about. They're just a person who was supposed to go run the queries and then deliver those to a business stakeholder without necessarily putting a lot of thought into it. And he has kind of argued they need to be right in the middle of the action. Like they need to be, maybe they're not the decision maker, but they need to be arguing for certain decisions, and they need to be deciding what queries to run, and they need to be pushing back on what they see as bad decisions, which is tough in an organization, right? To kind of say, I don't think this is the right thing, and here's why. Do you think business analysts will be driven into some kind of evolution by the availability of LLMs? Because it seems like that original version of business analytics where you just run the code and run the queries is not going to stick around.
No, it's not going to stick around. I agree with Ollie a lot. I think that, first of all, I have this theory, I call it Temu BI, which is that the generation of the front-end objects is going to become so easy that there's a high risk that we can generate a huge volume of wrong or misleading or ultimately ephemeral and useless BI objects. If you think of the cost of goods sold of a chart, currently the cost of goods sold before AI for a single chart was maybe a couple $100. And it's going to go down to a few cents. So that means that we need a lot of management around it in order to ensure that we're still getting good data and actionable data that business decision makers can do something with. And I think the role is going to have to evolve. in the book, the whole first section of the book is really about context management and gathering the right business context. I think that when you're working with LLMs, they can create outputs that are so convincing that it's very easy to skip the business context and the security parameters that you really need to put around them. And so the very first thing I teach in the book is not, oh, how do I pull data and make a chart? It's like, how do you get your own knowledge out into a way that an LLM can use? And now how do you work with your customers, your end users, to get their needs and document them into a way the LLM can use? If you don't have that, if you don't have the business context, even like the social political context of the BI project you're building, you can build something that looks great, but goes completely off the rails when it makes contact with reality.
Well, one of the things I've always seen with business analysts is sometimes the business does treat them as subordinates who are just there to, do this very manual.
Where the term chart monkey comes from.
But generally, if I was a data engineer, I would always joke, but with a lot of truth in it too, that the business analysts were the ones who knew where the bodies were buried. By that, I mean that they knew all the problems that were lurking in the data, and they knew all the problems in the data when it related to other vendors and things. And so I like this point that you're making, that like the business analysts are the people who really need to be able to contextualize that. And I think in terms of an evolving skill set, that's what you need to look at, is like communicating all that specialized knowledge that you've accumulated to the stakeholders, but also to the LLM to get things right.
I think it's an exciting time to be a data analyst or a BI person, because a lot of what you're doing is facing automation, but at the same time, you're the face of the data practice in a lot of places. And you know where the bodies are buried. You know the people, you know what they need and what they don't need.
You know the different orgs.
You can interpret. You are skilled at interpreting what they say they want and figuring out what they actually need. And that is such a crucial skill for doing LLM-driven analytics. I think that, in fact, is the crucial skill. And the other stuff that we're good at, your SQL skills, your Python skills, your knowledge of visualization best practices, those are still important, but they're important. It's almost like that's your taste, right? And having great taste will be important to ensure that the outputs are good, but your real core value will be the people in sales said they need X, but I know, having worked with them, that there's a lot of nuance to that, and there's data they think we have that maybe we don't have, and the LLM will invent it. It will invent
or it will misinterpret it or present it as something that it's not.
Happily do that.
Well, and I think fundamentally, like, we need to just enhance communication skills to really get that message across, that there is more to the data than it appears, and that you're not going to get the full picture just by chatting with a chatbot.
No, and
that's a fair contention.
And I think that maybe if you go back a year and a half, 2 years, there was this idea, oh, we'll just have chatbots, and like the chatbot can just explain what's in the data, and that'll be good enough. And I think there are plenty of stories that have emerged in the press, or you've heard from your friends about the time the chatbot said X, and it completely fabricated what was in there, even with good constraints in place.
No, that's a very valid point. Well, thank you so much for taking the time for this, and looking forward to the book that finally comes out. And it sounds like there might be some stuff about vector databases.
There may be some stuff about vector databases in there.
Fantastic.
It should come out we're shooting for December 2026. So
excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it, and recommend that other people do the same.
Thanks for having me on, Matt.
Sounds great. Talk to you soon.
All right.